of the work. Now, my primary concern today is not the air pollution epidemiology that's been discussed, but how this has been turned into regulations that affect diesel trucks and other diesel engines in the state of California. And so in my research, going back on this entire process, I believe it started with something that's known as the Scientific Review Panel on Toxic Air Contaminants. And next slide. This started with a legislative bill, AB 1807. It was the Tanner Act, 1983. It set up a 9-member scientific review panel, and the members were to be highly qualified and appointed for a term of 3 years. And the members were to be nominated by the president of the University of California, and the pool was to include nominees, 3 nominees for each discipline. Now, it turns out this process has not been followed as I interpret the code sections. The panel has been dominated by 3 individuals for the entire 26 years that it's existed, and they're toxicologist John Freunds of UCLA, biostatistician Stanton Glantz of UC San Francisco, and epidemiologist Gary Friedman of Stanford and Kaiser. And these men have received reappointments, but apparently not with additional nominations by the president of the University of California. And most troubling to me as an epidemiologist is the fact that Gary Friedman has served on the panel now for 16 years without a formal appointment. And this includes the period in 1998 when diesel exhaust was declared a toxic air contaminant. And in doing so, he's prohibited any other epidemiologist, such as myself, from serving on this panel, and I don't think this is appropriate. So in my mind, this next document, is a very key element of why we're in the situation we are. This is the last appointment letter of Gary Friedman, showing his term expired January 1st, 1994. And how this has happened, I would really like an explanation, because that's, in my mind, totally inappropriate, and it is a sign that there really are some things in this agency that really need to be addressed. Next. Okay. The decision to declare diesel as exhaust a toxic air contaminant was made April 22nd, 1998. And going back and reviewing the transcript for that meeting reveals that 38% of the transcript lines were by John Freunds, 19% by Stanton Glantz, and only 3% by Gary Friedman. And this was mainly a discussion of epidemiologic studies on railroad workers and truck drivers. And it's, in my mind, very unfortunate that he wasn't discussing issues like the actual exposure levels of these subjects to diesel. It wasn't determining the relevance to the California population, and wasn't really assessing the criteria for causal relationships as he should have been. And so this is also disturbing to me. What I'd like to do now is to go over evidence. This is switching back to the subject of the symposium today. And it's evidence specific to California that I don't think has been properly addressed. And it's evidence I believe shows no relationship, current relationship between PM2.5 and premature deaths in California. This is a map that's published in the 2000 Krusky HEI report showing PM2.5 concentration levels from the 1980s. It shows that the highest concentrations were back east. California is actually at the low end for most of the state, sort of a middle range for the LA area. Now, turning this into risk, there's a map, figure 21 in that publication, showing the relationship between PM2.5 and mortality across the nation during the period 1982 to 1989, and this is the reanalysis of the Pope 1995 study. Again, showing the risk is predominantly in the east, and there's no real excess, at least according to the legend in the figure. The risk was actually listed as being below 1.0, and so to me it looks like there's a clear geographic variation here. Next.